Abstract. This article examines how leaders can apply concepts from complexity theory to take a systems-based approach to navigating organizational complexity. It first defines key ideas from complexity science such as complexity theory, which views organizations as existing in a state of productive tension at the edge of chaos rather than under pure control. A systems approach that recognizes organizations as interconnected networks of interdependent parts and complex adaptive systems characterized by self-organization. The article then discusses how leaders can establish clear yet flexible goals and direction, loosen central control to allow decentralized experimentation, promote transparency, and embrace diversity to foster conditions for bottom-up self-organization. It also explores developing networked mindsets through cross-functional teams, relationship building, and transparent information sharing to enhance emergent coordination. Additionally, the article emphasizes cultivating attentiveness to subtle changes and disturbances by establishing early warning systems and experimenting quickly, as well as nurturing an adaptive culture through innovation, reskilling, and rapid pilot-based learning to sustainably renew the organization amid nonlinearity and uncertainty. In today's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, organizations face growing complexity across all aspects of operations. However, traditional reductionist and mechanistic management approaches are often ill-equipped to effectively navigate such complexity. Today, we will explore how complexity theory can inform a systems approach to organizational leadership. Definitions of key concepts before delving into complexity theory and a systems approach. It is important to define some key concepts. Complexity theory, a cross-disciplinary scientific theory focused on understanding how interconnected, interdependent systems behave. It explores emergent self-organized patterns and nonlinearity. Systems approach, a holistic perspective that views an organization as an interconnected network of interrelated, interdependent components that interact in unpredictable ways. It emphasizes understanding relationships rather than linear cause-effect links. Complex adaptive systems, open systems with many agents dynamically interacting and adapting based on shared rules. They tend toward the edge of chaos where innovation and change emerge. With working definitions established, we can now examine complexity theory and its leadership implications. Complexity theory as foundation for systems approach. Complexity theory provides a useful scientific foundation for taking a systems view of organizational dynamics. Some key insights include: organizations exist at the edge of chaos where they can respond and adapt to changing conditions but avoid total randomness. Pushing too far to order or chaos harms adaptability. Leadership should focus on managing tensions rather than controlling variables. Tensions between exploration and exploitation, centralization and decentralization, and stability and change fuel self-organization and innovation if appropriately balanced. Unpredictability is inherent because small actions can have disproportionate and unexpected consequences in networked environments due to interdependencies and feedback loops. Cause and effect are nonlinear. Simple rules lead to complexity. Organizations emerge from many agents following a relatively small number of shared rules in dynamic interaction. Local behaviors aggregate into global outcomes that cannot be predicted by any single part. Self-organization arises from the bottom up. Leaders should focus on establishing conditions where teams and individuals can adapt dynamically rather than top-down control of every detail. Open communication fosters learning. Information sharing across all agents, not just vertical communication, enhances responsive coordination and pushes the system away from equilibrium toward greater potential. With an understanding of complexity principles, leaders can adopt a systems perspective accounting for networks, nonlinearity, emergence, and adaptation. Practical steps for applying this mindset are discussed next. Fostering conditions for self-organization based on complexity insights. Leaders can encourage self-organization in their organizations by establishing clear yet flexible goals and directionality focused on the broader system rather than microcontrols. Loosening central governance to allow for decentralized experimentation and adaptation within shared constraints and principles. Promoting an open culture of trust and transparency where information flows freely across natural organizational boundaries. Embracing diversity of perspectives to spur novel combinations and solutions at the edges where different functional silos intersect. For example, tech giant 3M decentralized R&D, allowing scientists to self-direct a portion of work hours on any projects of interest. This fostered thousands of innovations, including post-it notes. Healthcare networks are expanding multidisciplinary care teams combining perspectives of doctors, nurses, therapists to personalize patient outcomes. Developing networked perspectives. Taking a networked view requires intentionally cultivating organizational architecture, relationships and communication flows to enhance structural interdependencies. Some effective practices include establishing cross-functional teams and matrix structures, breaking down silos to forge new connections. Investing in social capital through rotational assignments, mentorship programs, and casual networking opportunities to build diverse webs of collaboration. Leveraging technology platforms and data sharing across organizational units in real time to foster coordination based on complete, transparent information flows. Instilling an outward-facing mindset through community involvement. Mergers, joint ventures and open innovation initiatives combining internal and external stakeholder perspectives. Tech giants like Cisco, Dell, and Intel have cultivated extensive partner ecosystems co-innovating new solutions. Healthcare providers are moving services into the community through population health management partnerships for more holistic care coordination. Developing sensitivity to initial conditions. A core principle of complexity is that small, even imperceptible changes can have significant and unpredictable outcomes due to networked interdependencies. Leaders should cultivate attentiveness to potential leverage points, establish early warning systems to surface weak signals and subtle shifts using tools like network analytics, feedback surveys and stakeholder interviews. Quickly respond to disturbances through agile experimentation rather than protracted planning to determine high-impact adjustments. Learning comes from action, not analysis alone. Consider potential feedback loops so actions in one domain do not trigger nonlinear consequences in another, requiring course corrections. Conduct regular scenario planning, anticipating how various combinations of forces and events could reshape operating conditions to proactively respond rather than reacting to crises. For example, during COVID-19, some retailers sharply pivoted supply chains and store formats while others stalled, negatively impacted. Likewise, cities that sensed and responded early to social disturbances prevented escalation while others struggled to regain control. Cultivating an adaptive culture. A sustainability-oriented culture aligns people and teams to continually renew the organization in response to change. Tactics to embed complexity thinking and adaptiveness include promoting psychological safety where people feel secure enough to candidly discuss early warning signals, failures and deviations from plans. Investing in continual reskilling and rotations to build multidimensional skill sets adept at navigating uncertainty rather than single domain expertise. Incentivizing innovation through rewards for exploration alongside exploitation so people's career paths do not depend entirely on optimizing current processes. Establishing rapid experimentation processes with short feedback loops where ideas are vetted through low-cost pilots rather than lengthy business case approvals. For example, large consulting firms cultivate T-shaped skills like ARAP through research projects. Technology giants Google and Amazon emphasize innovation time like 20% projects and hackathons to fuel new growth areas. Conclusion: complexity theory provides a scientific foundation for organizations to take a networked, systems-oriented approach aligned with the dynamics of complex adaptive systems. Leaders who establish conditions of self-organization. Foster networked perspectives, cultivate sensitivity to initial perturbations and nurture an adaptive culture enhance their organization's capacity to anticipate and respond to changes in nonlinear ways that maintain far from equilibrium dynamism, while navigating complexity involves inherent unpredictability. The strategies discussed can strengthen resilience and adaptive capacity. Sustained self-renewal in this manner positions organizations to thrive amid pervasive change.